Hello, we're the team at Vendor Society and we're sharing bite-sized vendor tips and ideas in our interview series. I'm Dani Thompson and I'm the marketing manager at eCommerce Nurse Vendor Society, and I'm here with Carina McLeod, our CEO and founder. Today we're going to be discussing virtual roundtables. This is just one type of event that we have on the go here on the relaunched Vendor Society website, and we'd love to share more about it. Ultimately, we hope to be a destination for all things vendor, with vendor-specific content on hot topics and ways to network with other vendors. We'll dive right in with 5 quick questions to help you learn more about the Vendor Society Virtual Roundtable. So, hi, Carina.
Hey.
So, let's kick off. What is a virtual roundtable?
A virtual roundtable is basically a discussion group where we have a certain number of people on a call, and we choose a hot topic or a very relevant topic that we talk about. So we'll select a series of questions that we're going to then discuss amongst the group. So really it's about finding a topic that is important to a number of vendors, where they can then share their experiences and learn from one another and share best practice as well.
That sounds awesome. What are some of the potential topics that people can expect, or what popular topics have you had in the past?
So we've been running virtual tables for about 1 to 2 years. We really had positive feedback in the past from a number of vendors, and actually asking when are we going to have the next roundtable, because a lot of vendors found these really useful in terms of really taking away some golden nuggets and just helping them have some light bulb moments, maybe on a situation they've been struggling with. So topics that we've discussed in the past are things like, do you invest in an AVS? That's a big question that a number of businesses are being asked by Amazon to invest in an AVS, but not knowing whether or not they've seen the benefits. So actually talking to another vendor who has actually gone through that process is a really valuable experience. The same with topics such as negotiating contracts with Amazon, going through cost price increases, and how to manage cost price increases, all topics that are quite challenging for vendors, but being able to discuss these with other vendors that have actually found a technique to be able to get through the other side, or even if they haven't found a technique, just knowing that they're not the only one going through this so they can share ideas, has been absolutely invaluable. So hence why with the relaunch, we're continuing with virtual roundtables and really finding those topics that are really relevant and important to vendors at present.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about the format? How do vendors participate and what's so beneficial about this format?
Yeah, so how it works is that we'll have a maximum of 20 people, 20 brands attending the conference call. And that would be one person from each brand to make sure that we have a mix of brands on the call, a mix of categories as well, and a mix of sizes. And it's important there because, there's every category, every size vendor will have their own experiences. And so it's good to have that variety there on the call. And on the call, it's a video conference where all of us are on that call, and then it's facilitated. And so we'll have a set question. So we'll have a topic and then clear questions around that. And those questions are shared with the participants pre-call to allow them to prepare for that roundtable, because participation is key with roundtables, because of course you're jumping on that roundtable because you want to learn, but it's also important that you share your experiences as well. So it's that whole give and receive type scenario. And so you'll be on a video conference talking with a number of different vendors, sharing those experiences and also building a rapport with fellow vendors. We've actually seen vendors come off those calls and actually then connect outside, because they might have found that they actually had some real topics in common, and they've actually connected and really established a relationship outside of the roundtable, which is really what Vendor Society is all about when we talk about community. And so that's really very much the format. And then it will be facilitated with certain questions to make sure, of course, that we have those questions in place. Otherwise, conversations can go one way. And we also want to make sure that we stay on topic. And of course, that everybody has the opportunity to speak as well. It is important that we're, as I mentioned earlier, that we're all sharing our experiences.
That's great. That leads me on to my next question. How do you ensure that all parties are engaged in these calls?
Yeah, it is important. It is important, as I mentioned, that everybody participates. And we have a couple of almost housekeeping rules when we join the call, is making sure that first off, everybody has to introduce themselves. So it is really important that nobody on the call is anonymous. Everybody knows everyone on that call, to just make sure that, sometimes you are sharing not necessarily confidential information, but you want to know who you're going to be sharing your information with. So we definitely go around the room in terms of getting to know one another and also giving everybody the opportunity. So there'll be some people on the call that are quite comfortable with speaking out and wanting to share topics, and others that it might be that we just need to ask questions to other people within the group, get them to share their experience. And that's really why it's all about facilitating as well, to ensure that all parties are involved. And it's also, we do have that part where we do monitor these calls in the sense that, we want people on those calls that are engaging. And so it is an event that there's, as I mentioned earlier, there's only 20 people max on that call. We want to make sure it's not about quantity on these calls, it's about quality. And so we want to make sure everybody's participating. And so we do monitor that, because what we want to make sure is that, if somebody is really engaged and has lots to share and really gets involved in those roundtables, chances are when the next roundtable comes and the spaces are limited, they're going to be selected, because there are always going to be more people wanting to sign up, of course, to these roundtables. And so it is very much an exclusive event, in ensuring that we've got the right mix of vendors, we've got the right mix of categories, but also people that have participated in the past, or if they're new, are ready to participate and share their ideas.
Okay, so my next question, what is the first topic and how can vendors sign up?
So the first topic is going to be about terms negotiation. So we're coming to the end of the year. Yes, we're all thinking about Q4, but no doubt come the new year, Amazon are going to come knocking. They're going to come knocking for improvements in their terms, which isn't so easy given where we currently are post-pandemic with a lot of cost price increases. So this is going to be even tougher for vendors to know really what are the levers that you can use when negotiating with Amazon. And I say when negotiating with Amazon because you can negotiate, and it's important that vendors know that. And so really we want to have everybody on the call to share previous experiences that they've had, previous successes that they've had when negotiating terms with Amazon, and really to ensure that everybody understands what Amazon is asking for them, and just to get an open discussion on a topic that is going to be very hot soon. So you want to be prepared. So in terms of how you can sign up, so going on to vendorsociety.com, going to the Virtual Roundtables page and just registering. Now, as I mentioned earlier about the limit, what happens is you will register, and then your application, as it were, to participate in the event will then be vetted, and we'll be checking that you are an active vendor, looking at the category that you're in, seeing if you've been a previous attendee in the past, and we'll look at that to see what that mix looks like. And then we'll select who those up to 20 people will be. And then you'll receive an invite to attend the event. If you don't receive that invite, it might be that you haven't necessarily been selected for that event, but there's so many more events. So we always recommend signing up to our newsletter, because if you sign up to our newsletter, you'll be kept up to date on all the events. But it might be that a roundtable might not be the right event for you right now. It might be if you're really at the early stages and you don't feel that you actually have many experiences to share, go and check out our webinars and bite-sized interviews for a bit more education on learning on what you need to really know from day one when you become a vendor on Amazon.
That's great. Thanks, Carina. And we will see you at our roundtables soon.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Dani.
Thank you for listening to the Vendor Society interview series by eCommerce Nurse. We're a boutique agency specializing in account management, marketing and consulting for both vendors and sellers on Amazon. For more interviews, roundtables, blogs and information about all of our services, visit vendorsociety.com or ecommercenurse.com.